Hello and welcome to Your Soul Guidance with Adriana. I'm a clairaudient channel and an intuitive reader, but today, instead of doing a reading, I wanted to talk to you about another stepping stone on your spiritual path. And this is the concept of emotional self-fulfillment. This is a really big, amazing, and freeing concept that if you can really take it in and apply it deeply to yourself, it can really, really open things up for you. So, we are raised in a culture that tells us that we are automatically not fulfilled just as we are, that we're not okay as we are, that we need things from the external to make us happy. And I'm sure this isn't the first time that you've heard this, but as of late, I couldn't believe how deeply that belief is entrenched in our psyches. So I think it's really important to revisit it again. When you turn on the TV or you turn on YouTube or you turn on whatever, you're bombarded with this concept that you could be so much more, you could be whole if you only had X, Y, and Z. If you had this ring, or you had this beer, or you had this cleaning product, or you had this clothes, or you had this vacation, you could be happy, content, and fulfilled if you had that. And that's not true, really, because the more you have, the more you realize you don't have, and it's just this never-ending cycle of unfulfilled desire. Because once you think the grass is greener on the other side, and you get to the other side, there's more grass, and it's over there, and you're always chasing that greener grass. So the thing is that as beings that are part light and part shadow, the true parts of us are light. The parts that we're learning to release down here are shadow. As a light being, we are already whole. We are already fulfilled within ourselves, and we don't need anything or anyone to make us whole and complete. We come here able to nourish and nurture ourselves and give ourselves everything we need to be that whole self. But the problem is that we start to believe, and it's reinforced by our culture, it's reinforced by the way we're raised, that we need all these external things. We need to belong, we need accolades, we need accomplishment, we need achievement. And it's really just not true. And the thing is, it's the belief that we need those things to feel a certain way. We need these things to feel complete, or to feel whole, or to feel fulfilled or satisfied. And we don't need that. The way that this could work is if you could generate that feeling of satisfaction and wholeness from within yourself, you would actually attract more satisfaction and wholeness. You would attract experiences that supported that. You would attract relationships and people that supported your own feeling of wholeness and fulfillment. But if you're coming from, no, I need that to make me whole, or I need this relationship to complete me, or I need this other person to make me feel a certain way, that's not going to work, because that you're attracting from lack. So what are you going to do? You're going to attract more lack. Okay, so you might ask someone, well, could you do this? Because when you do this, I feel better. Well, they're going to do that for you, but you're still not going to feel better long term, because you're filling from the outside. So then you're going to say to them again, well, could you do this? And that's still not going to be enough. The grass will always be greener. You will always be wanting more and more desires. It's bringing to mind a story. I didn't know any of these people, so this is kind of a friend of a friend story. But this man married this beautiful girl and this beautiful woman. And he said to her, well, if we could only get you some Botox for your forehead. So they got some Botox, and yeah, okay, you look really nice, but maybe we could also get your nose done. So got the nose done. And then it was, maybe we could also get some permanent makeup and get your eyebrows done. It was all of these things. And then at the end of it, she's unrecognizable. There was no amount of alteration that was going to be satisfying to him, But you see, he was trying to change something on the outside so he'd feel a certain way on the inside, feel more fulfilled, or that he had a better, I guess, object in front of him. So, I'm sure this is all making sense. But really, I invite you to ask yourself, what secret language or secret tie do you have with the people in your life? What secret conditions do you have with them? Do you feel that they exist just to exist, or is there a little bit of a string where, you fulfill me so I'm happy with you, or you don't fulfill me so I'm not happy with you? You bring me the things I want, and so I'm happy with that relationship, or you don't bring me everything. So therefore I'm going to find things wrong. I'm going to find things to pick on and find reasons to leave. And, I can't tell you how many times I've done relationship readings for people, and they're always asking about the other person. And they're always asking if the other person can be, there in a way that will fulfill them, or if this next person coming in is finally going to be the one that completes them and answers all their prayers. And I think the question that the universe is wanting us to ask, instead of are they the one, is, are we being the one? Are we being the ones that are fulfilling ourselves? Are we knowing ourselves well enough to know what we need to fulfill ourselves with? I'm not sure if that was the best sentence. For me, this is where astrology and learning about my chart, getting readings, that kinds of things, but mostly learning about my own chart and really discussing it with others. That's where I've learned a lot about what makes me feel truly fulfilled without other people and without needing it to come from someone else. For me, it's creative pursuits like making videos, doing tarot, playing the piano, creating some kind of art, paintings or weavings or sculpture, whatever. It's those things that I need to do on my own. Walking in nature, that's another thing that makes me feel very fulfilled. But it's also more than knowing what makes you fulfilled. It's really releasing anything else that is outside of you from the job of fulfilling you. So this applies to work, this applies to family, this applies to location, it applies to relationships, it applies to a lot. It's about the process of releasing all of that externally to just not needing it to feel complete and whole in yourself. And once you do that, there is this just space of unconditional love that opens up, and you just feel this immense, not only freedom, because you're not literally, monitoring and analyzing everything everyone else is doing and weighing if they're acting right towards you or not. There's just this freedom to give. And I have to tell you, for me, what worked was creating some, I'll call them mantras, and really saying them to myself and meaning them a lot. Mantras about releasing other people or jobs or anything external. But what was really interesting to me is in that process, I felt a lot of resistance. I didn't want to believe what I was saying. I didn't want to believe that my fulfillment should come from within. And I thought, this is crazy, because how long have I been working on the spiritual path? I've been learning and working on the spiritual path for, I believe, 20 years, at least over 20 years, and I'm still resistant to this very basic thing. So that's what I mean. It's so amazing to me how deep this conditioning goes. So I really feel like you have an immense opportunity in front of you to experience freedom, unconditional love, expansion. The more you're willing to step into this process of releasing external fulfillment, of taking ownership of your own fulfillment and of your own satisfaction, your own contentment, and being able to achieve that independently of anyone on the outside. Okay, so that that's something to consider. All I can tell you is I have found it incredibly freeing and incredibly helpful and just incredibly amazing to work with. And it's like there's no end to the things that you can find. There's no end to the release. And whenever you release something you don't need, it's just such a big feeling of relief. So questions or comments about that, I'd love to hear below. And if you'd like to explore this further one-on-one, or you have some questions about your chart, you maybe like to learn about what does your soul want for your own fulfillment, feel free to reach out. I do offer readings and coachings as well as these videos. So if that's interesting to you, you can find out more in the description below. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good one.